Have you ever noticed that you look different in photos than you do in the mirror? Imagine this familiar scenario. It's Saturday night and you're getting ready to go out. You check yourself out in the mirror and think, I look fantastic. Fast forward a few hours and someone at the party snaps a picture of you. The next day they send you the photo and suddenly you don't recognize yourself. You wonder, is that really what I look like? So which one is more accurate, the camera or the mirror? Which should you trust to show your true appearance? To answer this, we need to dive into the science behind it. There are 5 key factors that influence how you look in a photo compared to the mirror or real life. Let's explore these components to understand the truth behind your reflection and your snapshots. Think about it. You've been looking at your face in the mirror since you were a kid. Your brain is so accustomed to this mirrored version that seeing your unmirrored face in a photo can feel strange and uncomfortable. It's like looking at a stranger. Here's a fun experiment to illustrate this. Find a photo of yourself taken by someone else, one where you think you don't look your best. Use an app to mirror that photo and see what happens. Chances are the mirrored image will suddenly look more attractive to you. Why? Because it's the version of your face you're familiar with. This phenomenon is linked to something called the mirror exposure theory. It explains why you're not actually unattractive in that photo. You're just not used to seeing your unmirrored face, which can appear distorted, odd, or asymmetrical to you. Now, you might be wondering, do people see me as I see myself in the mirror, or as I appear in unmirrored photos? Essentially, do they see the attractive or the unattractive version? The answer is, they see your unmirrored face. However, because they're accustomed to this version, they don't perceive the same asymmetry or distortion you do when you look at your photos. Here's an interesting exercise from a 2016 research paper by Orangen and colleagues. Stand in front of a mirror with a friend and look at their reflection. You'll likely notice that your friend looks oddly asymmetrical or even unattractive. This is because you're used to seeing their unmirrored face, so the mirrored version looks strange to you. Let's take a look at a picture of a beautiful woman named Gina. If we reverse the image, her face appears different, but it's still the same face with the same level of attractiveness. We're just not used to seeing it from this angle. Orangen and colleagues also conducted a study comparing selfie takers and non-selfie takers' perceptions of selfies versus photos taken by others. Interestingly, both groups reported similar levels of narcissism. However, selfie takers found themselves more attractive and likable in their own selfies than in photos taken by others. Non-selfie takers viewed both types of photos similarly, highlighting a notable bias in self-perception. This reinforces the mirror exposure hypothesis. Individuals who frequently take selfies and see mirrored images of their faces start to find these mirrored images more attractive as they become more familiar with them. This is why, for example, Instagram shows you the mirrored version of your selfie. They know people might dislike the real unmirrored version. One fascinating reason why attractiveness might differ between the mirror and pictures is that people generally perceive themselves as more attractive than they actually are. Nicholas Epley and his colleagues discovered that this tendency is linked to how we subconsciously value ourselves. It's an automatic mental process rather than a deliberate one. In their intriguing experiment, they took photos of 27 participants, 18 women and 9 men. At the end of an unrelated study, the participants posed with neutral expressions, and the researchers edited these photos to make the faces more or less attractive. A few weeks later, the participants returned, recalled their previous photograph, and were shown a lineup of 11 edited versions of their faces. They were asked to pick out their actual image. Interestingly, many chose the version that was 10% more attractive than their real photo. On average, people identified their real image as significantly more attractive than it actually was. This bias extends beyond just our own perception. Other studies found that close friends, family, and even romantic partners tend to see us as more attractive than strangers do. Strangers, it seems, are the only unbiased judges of our attractiveness. Another reason why you might see yourself differently in the mirror than in photos is due to the influence of edited images. A 2021 study by Rebecca Frog highlighted that using apps like FaceApp, Facetune, or even filters from TikTok and Instagram can alter our self-perception. These tools create a polished version of our face that we begin to see as our true appearance. When confronted with an unedited photo, it can appear unattractive because it doesn't match our edited expectations. Another reason you might look different in photos compared to real life is because of the camera itself. Several technical factors can make you appear less attractive in pictures than you do in the mirror or in person. In real life, you see a 3D version of someone's face with incredible detail and precision. You notice every aspect, such as skin quality, thickness, irregularities, eye color, shadows, and more, all of which play a crucial role in perceiving attractiveness. However, when you take a photo, you're looking at a 2D version of that face, which lacks the depth and richness of real life. Unless you have an extremely high-quality camera, the mirror provides a more accurate reflection of your true appearance than a photo does. Moreover, a camera's focal length significantly impacts how your facial features appear. Look at these images. They all show the same person, but the face looks different in each due to varying focal lengths. Generally, shorter focal lengths, like those in many smartphone wide-angle lenses, distort facial features, making them appear larger or stretched, especially when close to the camera. This is why selfies often make your nose look bigger or your face look rounder than in real life. Mobile phones often correct this distortion with software because it's a common issue. For instance, the iPhone 15's focal length is 24 mm. To avoid distortion, hold your phone at least an arm's length away when taking a selfie. Other factors like white balance also affect how your skin tone appears in photos. Accurate white balance ensures that skin tones look natural rather than too warm or too cool, which influences attractiveness ratings. Research shows that lighting conditions significantly affect perceived attractiveness. Harsh lighting from above can create unflattering shadows, making features appear more wrinkled. To take a better photo, aim for lighting that illuminates your face evenly, such as natural sunlight. Another critical factor that influences why you might perceive yourself differently in photos than in real life is your psychological state. Your self-perception fluctuates with your mood and confidence levels, directly affecting how attractive you think you look. On days when you're feeling insecure, you might be overly critical of yourself, seeing your pictures as less attractive than they truly are. Interestingly, if you talk to photographers who work regularly with models, they'll tell you that even these models sometimes find themselves unattractive in photos. It's a natural part of human self-perception. Thornton and Moore, 1993, documented that this phenomenon isn't limited to women. Men also judge their own attractiveness lower after being exposed to attractive individuals. You can test this yourself. Scroll through Instagram, look at celebrities, and then look at your pictures. You might find that you become more critical of your features. Conversely, if you're exposed to people you perceive as less attractive, you might see yourself more favorably, giving your confidence a boost. Your self-esteem and confidence play a massive role in how you see yourself in pictures. The sixth factor influencing how you see yourself in pictures is your facial expression. Sometimes a certain expression can make you look awkward or unflattering in photos, especially when there's movement involved, like when speaking. This movement can affect your facial symmetry, which plays a role in your perceived attractiveness. However, most of these changes seem to be more noticeable to you than to others. So, which is more accurate, the mirror or the picture? Assuming a neutral emotional state, a high-quality picture with great lighting and neutral facial expressions accurately represents what you look like in real life. A high-quality, unmirrored picture of your face reflects how others see you, while a high-quality mirrored picture shows you how you appear to yourself. With that said, stay tuned for more exciting content.